For us as mixing engineers, finding the right reverb for a rock singer can be challenging. Sometimes all you need is a bit of slapback echo and a touch from a plate, but other times you need to drench a singer in washed out reverb effects to match the song's emotion. Reverb plugins by LiquidSonics give you all the tools you need to craft a rock vocal mix that, well, rocks. My name is Julian David, and in this video we'll talk about LiquidSonics' Reverberate 3, Cinematic Rooms, and Illusion. Here we go. To give you an idea of what to expect from this tutorial, let's listen to the vocals without any reverb and delay effects first, and then I'll switch to the final version.
Come to the dark side. It's warm down here. Abandon your morals. Take us wild, my dear. Living life for the sin. That's when life begins. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Let go.
If you've watched our video about mixing pop vocals, you may already be familiar with the strategy of using multiple reverbs instead of just one. The vocals on this track were recorded in this fairly small room. So as a first step, I want to give them more width and add the excitement of a bigger space. Cinematic Rooms is an incredibly musical, natural-sounding reverb, and it excels at smaller rooms in particular. It comes in two editions, Standard and Professional. Both share the same algorithm, but differ in features and number of presets. There's a specific feature of the Pro edition that I think might be cool to try for our lead vocals. So let's go for that one and try a few of the rooms. One quick note, I'll exaggerate these effects so you can hear exactly what's going on. But then, for the final playback, I'll pull the reverbs back to more reasonable levels.
Come to the dark side. It's warm down here. Abandon your morals. Take a sip of wine, my dear. Come to the dark side. It's warm down here. Abandon your morals. Take a sip of wine, my dear. Come to the dark side. It's warm down here. Abandon your morals. Take a sip of wine, my dear. Come to the dark side. It's warm down here. Abandon your morals. Take a sip of wine, my dear.
They all sound natural and authentic, but the Vocal Sheen preset works best for me right now. One of the unique features of the Professional edition of Cinematic Rooms I was referring to is the chorusing in the modulation section. The modulation in Cinematic Rooms is designed to be subtle, just there to enhance the perception of a space being alive, without the modulation drawing attention to itself, as it does in many of the older designs. You can conveniently control the chorusing for the reflections and the later reverb independently. Let's find out what it does.
Come to the dark side. It's warm down here. Abandon your morals. Take a sip of wine, my dear. Living life full of sin. That's when life begins. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Let go. Let go.
I like that it's subtle, but adds just the right kind of richness to the room setting. When you push the chorus modulation on the early reflections though, it almost sounds like a doubler. The fine setting affects only the reflections modulator. Light adds delay line modulation to the crossfeed channels only. And moderate adds delay line modulation to all channels. I don't want to change the room's vibe too much, so I'm going to go with very little chorusing on the early reflections and moderate chorusing on the reverb. Here's what it all sounds like in the mix.
Come to the dark side. It's warm down here. Abandon your morals. life begins. Say goodbye, say goodbye, let go.
As a second step, I'd like to add a reverb that adds more energy and a little bit more drama to our vocals. Something that really makes them stand out. Reverberate 3, LiquidSonics' convolution reverb powerhouse, is great for rock vocals, because it gives you access to such a vast library of iconic reverb sounds. Plus, it includes advanced editing and modulation capabilities, as well as built-in effects. In addition to the factory presets, several Fusion IR expansion packs are available, and they're all free of charge. The FS48 library provides samples of the most iconic digital reverb unit from the late 80s that defined rock records and is still revered by many music mixers today. Of course, it includes the legendary A-plate setting, but there's much more to discover.
Come to the dark side. It's warm down here. Abandon your morals. Take a sip of wine, my dear. Living life full of sin, that's when life begins. Come to the dark side, it's warm down here. Abandon your morals, take a sip of wine, my dear. Living life full of sin, that's when life begins. Come to the dark side. It's warm down here.
The plates and halls immediately take you to that familiar digital reverb sound. Still, I find that the Ricochet preset with its echo combined with a longer tail fits what I was looking for better, as it's a bit more unusual sounding. I'll use Reverberate 3's onboard EQ to tailor the sound of the reverb, and then we'll have a listen in the mix.
Come to the dark side. It's warm down here. Abandon your morals. Take a sip of wine, my dear. Living life full of sin, that's when life begins. Come to the dark side. It's warm down here. Abandon your morals. Take a sip of wine, my dear.
Finally, I'm going to add a bit of doubler from another plugin to widen the vocals even further, as well as a touch of slapback echo.
Come to the dark side. It's warm down here. Abandon your morals. Take a sip of wine, my dear. Living life full of sin, that's when life begins. Say goodbye, say goodbye, let go.
Last but not least, we should have a listen to the gang vocals in the intro. I'll play them in the track first and then in solo.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
As you could hear, I've already set up some sends for my doubler effects, but I feel like they still sound too small. Let's push them further back in the mix and give them more size with the vocal room we have already in place.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
In addition to the room, I think a long and lush chamber could work well. Seventh Heaven, LiquidSonics' definitive software reproduction of the legendary Bricasti M7 hardware unit, has some truly stunning chambers. So let's hear a couple of those.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Generally, a large chamber is awesome for this, but to me, we're losing too much of the impact of the gang vocals now. They just end up too far in the back of the mix. A fantastic technique to preserve clarity in the vocals despite a longer reverb tail is to use a sidechain compressor on the reverb return. Now, I've already explained how to do reverb ducking in our video about mixing pop vocals, which you might want to check out as well. So instead, here's an even faster way using LiquidSonics' Illusion reverb. Illusion is an incredibly versatile reverb that goes beyond the abilities of traditional algorithmic reverbs by using a new approach to reverb simulation. To make this plugin even more unique, version 1.2 introduced a pair of dynamics processors and fidelity control. Rather than just ducking the entire reverb signal, I can choose which parts of the algorithm should be compressed, which would be tedious to achieve otherwise. As a result, I can duck the reverb but leave the early reflections untouched, which retains the spatial benefits of the early reflections. Let's hear that on one of Illusion's brighter chamber presets. I'll exaggerate the effect to make it clear. Here it is without the ducking first.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Let's bring it in.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Just the reverb. Just the reflections. All the way off. And back in. Let's hear that in the mix. I hope this tutorial gave you a glimpse at the powerful arsenal of reverb plugins that LiquidSonics has on offer, and that it gave you some inspiration for your next mix. Let's have one final listen to the mix before and after our reverb treatment.
Say goodbye, say goodbye, let go. Let go.
Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video valuable, please subscribe to our email list and social channels to be among the first to know when a new video comes out. And don't forget to check out the other videos in this series. Head over to liquidsonics.com to download free demos of all the reverb plugins we explored today. See you next time, and keep on rocking.